and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be potting up some propagations. I have several plants that have just been chilling in moss for a while now and been rooting wonderfully, and I figured it was time for them to get potted up in soil or back into mother plants and stuff like that. Good idea to do before I go on holiday because I don't want to leave them too long in moss, and moss dries out a lot faster than soil, so hopefully it will help them survive better when I'm gone for 2 weeks. Don't worry, I will have someone looking after my plants. If something goes drastically wrong, I will have someone there, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? If you don't know me already, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet, so if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. Right, let's get repotting. As you can see, I've got a lot of plants here. I've got some philodendrons, some syngoniums, got some string of hearts, silver glory, just quite a lot of plants ready for some new homes. So yeah. Let me adjust the angle so you can see better what I'm doing, and let's get on with it. Cleo, it's not the time right now, sweetie. I know you want to hang out with me and you missed me a lot. Bless you. But Mom's got to do her job right now. I gotta work, sweetie. No, thank you. How about you go on your bed and go to sleep? She's like, absolutely freaking not. So first, I think I'm going to pot up my string of hearts prop. I've had these propping for ages, and there's only 4 strands in this one, and I've got several strands propping in here, and so I really just want to make this plant a bit fuller, and I think these propagations are ready to go. I feel like string of hearts are kind of difficult to see their roots, even in a clear pot, so hopefully they're rooted well in there. I have moistened the moss of everything to hopefully make it easier to separate from the roots, but it's still a little bit nerve-wracking to do. It just pulls away so much easier when it's moist. Okay. So the roots on these look actually pretty decent. They're not like huge. Oh god, it's already getting tangled. Ah! String of hearts are notoriously tangly, but the roots look pretty decent in here. I think these can definitely be potted up, and I know you can pot string of hearts straight into soil if they're good enough, so I think this will be plenty happy going in this pot here. Okay, let's add those. There we go. Oh my god, that looks so much better already. It looks so much fuller. Oh my goodness, I freaking love that. Sorry, I just kind of sped through that. I was going to answer some questions while I did it, but I just did it very quickly. But I think that's going to look really good and so much fuller than before, because sometimes I feel like when there's only a couple strands in a string of plant, they look a bit, not pathetic, but a little bit pathetic. I should probably untangle these before I put them back up, but you know, maybe I won't. Next, I think I'm going to put this syngonium elbow into my other syngonium elbow because I want a slightly fuller plant. This one is a little bit pathetic, and I think this one should be rooted nicely. Oh yeah, plenty of roots in there. Alright, so let's answer some questions while I do this. So I've just asked for general planty and non-planty questions. How am I doing? Capital U's. I'm actually doing really well. Honestly, since I've gone full-time, I've been so much happier. And I think it's just because I get to do what I want. Because like, I seriously freaking love making content about houseplants. I love my job. I love doing this. And so now that I can actually do this full time and do what I want to be doing, it makes me so freaking happy. Just doing this makes me happy, and I get to do what I want when I want, and I work so hard. I work as hard as I possibly can. Like, I was working while I had COVID just because I enjoy it and it makes me happy. Cleo, not now, sweetie. Not now, sweetie. Cleo, no. Okay, fine, you can sit there, but you can't bother me doing my plant stuff. Yeah, in general, basically, I'm doing really, really well, and I'm so much happier now, which is really good. I was feeling pretty low for quite a while at my old job. I was really not enjoying it, and I think it was contributing to my poor mental health. No, no, Cleo, no. And so, yeah, I just know this is the right place for me at the minute, which makes me very happy, and I feel so much better than I did previously. Yeah, and I'm a little bit stressed right now because I'm trying to get a bunch of content done before I leave, but it's like positive stress. It's stress that I like is manageable and that I'm excited to like do something about. So it's got some pretty decent roots on it. I'd say these are good enough to pot up. In general with propagations, I like to either wait until the roots look proportional to the plant, so it's like 1/3 roots, 2/3 plant, if that makes sense, or until the roots have roots. That's another thing that people say, like basically these little offshoot roots that are branching out. So once you are starting to get those, that's when it's a good time to pot up and it's ready to go. This one is a little bit weird. Its main stem is like really squishy and kind of rotting, so I might try and trim that off as best I can without disturbing the roots I have. So I've got my pruning shears and a bit of isopropyl alcohol solution just to clean them off and make sure they're nice and bacteria free. But you want to make sure that your scissors or whatever you're using is clean and free of germs, bacteria that can kind of screw up your propagation. And I'm going to cut as close to the rotted bit as possible because the roots are very, very, very close to it. I might do it in a couple of chunks. Okay. So that is what we're working with now. It looks perfectly healthy still, so I'm gonna just pot it up. Oh, this next question is interesting. How do you sell plants and how do you make up your prices to sell something? This was asked by the same person, and I find it so difficult to price my plants, honestly. I mostly sell through like Instagram or Facebook Marketplace. Or sometimes Cali plants if I feel like I've got some that are a bit more like up there in like quality. Pali Plants is kind of like a Facebook Marketplace but for plants only, which is cool, and they also sell plants themselves. But oh cool, these roots are really nice in here. I don't know why I'm pulling you out entirely, but I am sorry. Just to pot you together. Yay. Dun, dun, dun. But I find pricing plants really difficult. I don't like pricing them because I don't want people to think that I'm like overcharging for my plants. So when I am pricing plants, I kind of have a look at Etsy and see what other people are selling the similar plants for, like whether it's a cutting or a full plant or the same size pot. I also look at plant shops and I try and price my plants slightly cheaper than a plant shop. But if it's an expensive, more rare plant, I'm gonna price it like competitively purely because I'm probably trying to make some money back from it. But for the most part, I'm very cheap with my prices. I like to price things lower because I want to help people have access to houseplants and help them grow their collections and stuff like that. A lot of the time for me, it's not about making the money, it's more about like community and helping people grow their collections and providing affordable alternatives and stuff like that. And usually I'm trying to like clear some space out of my own collection, so I more so just want them gone than want the money, which that's totally fine. People sell plants for different reasons, but that's usually why I'm selling my plants, and usually why I tend to price them a little bit cheaper, just because like gaining money isn't my priority. It's more so just like an added benefit. And oftentimes I'll give stuff away for free as well if it's something that's a lot less common, or if it's not perfect or something like that. I'm very prone to doing that. Or if it's a plant that I've just been having problems with, I do that quite frequently, just because, I don't know, I just like sharing the love with people and helping people grow their collection so much. I know I've repeated that like 12 times since talking about this, but that's how I feel. That's how I price my plants, and it's probably way, way cheaper than most people price things, but I don't know. I like doing it that way, and yeah, it makes me happy, so that's why I do it. So potted that up. That was really easy. Hopefully these two can get along well. They're not the most steady. I might grab like a chopstick or something to stake them up a little bit, hold them upright. Eventually I'd probably want to put these on some sort of support. I might make another one of those ropey poles for them, the Cecil rope poles, because they are perfectly fine climbing something like that, and they'll still produce like nice new growth that way. But for now, it's just gonna have to be like this, and that's okay. Next up, let's do the Philodendron Dark Lord. This has been in moss since April, and it's now July. It didn't have any roots on it at all, so I wanted to give it a chance, but I just noticed this when I was picking it up for this video. Do you see that? It's got like a new leaf growing out the bottom of the pot, which is very, very odd. I've never seen anything like that before. I think it's so surreal, and I think it's probably because it is a clear pot that like the light was on the side of it, not at the top, so it got a bit confused. Oh goodness. It got a bit confused when it was trying to put out some new growth, and put it out to the side and bottom instead of up. Another question is there going to be another plant swap soon, or when is the next plant swap? We have just started planning the next one, which is super duper exciting. If you don't know, I created a plant swap event called Another Plant Swap with Happy Plant Collector, one of my friends here on Instagram and like in real life now. And it's basically a swapping event where people come together and swap their houseplants, which is so much fun, and it's just an evening of planty goodness, and there was a raffle, and we had a sponsor, Pally Plants, and all that. It's just generally a brilliant time, and we wanted to have another one, and so we're having another plant swap, and I think we're hoping to continue doing it like really regularly. Oh my goodness. This is all kinds of messed up. Sorry to interrupt my train of thought, but holy cow. This is... what the heck is it, like, what's going on? There's like tons of little leaves. Oh goodness. This is gonna be a complicated repot, I'm sure. But we have just started planning another one. So I think in the coming months, I think we're looking for September, October time. We're just trying to figure out the venue, and hopefully it'll be on a weekend this time, because the last one was on a Friday and it made it a little bit harder for people who are out of town to come. And so we want to make it a little bit more accessible to more people throughout the UK. It'll still be in London because that's where we live, and it's a good central point for a lot of people. And in general, it is like a London plant swap. But hopefully it'll be on a weekend, so out of town folks can kind of like make a weekend out of it or something, and have a little bit more time in London and don't have to like try and rush from after work and stuff like that. So that is our goal, but it will be coming soon. If you want to know more about it or potentially attend it, head over to the Another Plant Swap Instagram page. You can also sign up to a newsletter to get regular updates. By regular, I mean once we've started figuring it out. To get updates, be the first to know about upcoming swaps and where to get tickets and stuff like that. So head over to that Instagram page and get that information. I'm gonna have to pot this so weird in order for this to sit okay. Another question was, do you prefer the US or the UK? I think that's a really hard one. They're both very good for different reasons and bad for different reasons. I think at this point I am enjoying my life here because I've kind of made it into something that I really like. I've got our flat, our cat, Cleo, I've got Joe, I've got all of my plants. And so I'm starting to quite like it, and it's summer, which really, really helps. I think in winter my my mood changes a lot. I've got a bit of seasonal affective, and when it's really cloudy for long periods of time in winter, I struggle. But I do really like it here. I think I like the life I've created here, but I do miss the sunshine of California, and I miss having a bit of freedom to like drive. We don't have a car here in London. It doesn't make sense to have a car here in London, for us at least. And so like I miss being able to like have the independence and just kind of go where I want when I want, as opposed to like having to worry about like train timetables or getting the bus or how long it's gonna take. And it's just a bit easier to travel, so I kind of miss having a car and that freedom. But I mean, they're both good in different ways. I wouldn't say I like one more than the other, but I do hope eventually to move back to California at some point. It doesn't have to be forever, but just for a little while to kind of get some more sunshine and vitamin D into my body for a while. I don't know. It'll be a long time before that happens, I think, because we're quite happy here now. But maybe in the next 5-10 years? Who knows? Alright. This is gonna be the weirdest repot I've ever had to do. I'm gonna take a picture of these roots because like, what the heck is this? It's so weird. And like, they've obviously just not unfolded right because they've been compressed and not had room to. I'm also gonna save all of this moss. I might try and like boil it and put it away. A lot of it has perlite in it as well, which I prop with moss and perlite joined together pretty regularly. So that's not a problem. I'll save it and reuse it because it's perfectly good moss, and I haven't had any like root rot or anything in it, so it's all good. I mean, this is obviously really, really ready to be potted as well. You can see there's so much there. I think if I had known that it was doing that, I would have repotted it sooner, because I would like to have righted that issue before now. But because I wasn't aware of it, it's a little bit different. I think when I pot it up, I'm going to attempt, don't know if it'll work, to pot it like that. Putting that on the outside. So it can have a bit of air and hopefully grow up from there. I will probably eventually have to sort this out and repot it again and maybe chop and prop this bit just because it's so odd. But for now, I think that should be fine. I'm gonna be using Soil Ninja soil as per usual. This is my Monstera and Philodendron soil. I'm actually running out, so I should probably order some more. But I also have a very exciting announcement. This isn't like, this video is not sponsored by Soil Ninja or anything. I freaking love their soil so much, but I am now a Soil Ninja ambassador, which is so freaking exciting. So if you want to order some Soil Ninja soil or components or anything from their website, really, you can use my code GoodGrowing for 10% off your order. And it does mean I do get a little bit of commission, but that's at no extra cost to you. But I would really appreciate it if you used my link, which I'll put in the description. It'll also be in my bio in Instagram if you want to see that. But I absolutely freaking love this soil. So if you're UK based and you want to get some really amazing soil, head to Soil Ninja. I freaking love them. This is not an ad. They're not paying me to say this. I just absolutely love their stuff. If you've known me for a long time, you'll know that I spout tons of praise for Soil Ninja, so I'm just glad to finally be affiliated with them. Oh, I'm also gonna water all of these after I finish this video to make sure that they're nice and damp, because right after you've been propping in something very moist like moss or perlite or whatever, or even just water, it's really good to make sure that their roots are moist for at least the first couple of days. Not like drenched, and you don't want them sitting in a puddle of water, but it's good to just keep an eye on them, and that's why I'm doing them today instead of later in this week when I can't like watch them and make sure that they're adjusting all right. There we go, my Dark Lord. It's at a bit of a funky angle purely because of this, but I think it should be okay. I'm gonna have to just put it back in its pot and hopefully it will be fine and start to maybe right itself, live a normal life. That'd be great. I might try and put it in a place where the grow light's above it instead of on the side of it, as that would probably help as well. Next up, I'm going to be doing my green Syngonium. It's got a pretty decent root system in there, so I think it should be fine. I potted this, or I propped this the same time I did the other Albo, so I think it'll be okay. While I untangle these roots, the next question is, do I have any hobbies besides plants? My first good answer is no, plants are my life, but they're also my job now, so I need to kind of have a mix. I can't just do plants all the time. I need to have other things in my life. One of my big ones is rock climbing or bouldering. I do that most weeks with one of my friends, and I really, really love it. It's kind of like, I think of them as puzzles, like active body puzzles, which is fun. I really love problem solving, and bouldering especially is a lot about problem solving and figuring out how you can move your body in the right way to get up to the top of the wall, which is really fun, but I absolutely love it. It makes me so happy, and I've been doing it kind of on and off for about 10 years now. God, it doesn't feel like it's that long, and I'm not like great or anything, but it's fun, so it doesn't really matter. I can do what I want if it's fun. But I absolutely love it. Another thing that I've recently gotten into, that my family and kind of Joe have gotten me into as well, is this sport called pickleball. I know it sounds very weird, but it's kind of like a mixture between like tennis, table tennis, and badminton. But it's a really fun sport. It's like a racket sport, and it's a good thing to keep me active. I also really like going to the gym. I'm just naming how I exercise right now, but those are all my hobbies. I really like doing those things. I like staying active. When I was in California, I was a very active person. I loved camping and like hiking and stuff like that. And since moving to London, that's not really been something I've been able to do. And so I've had to find different ways to be active because I like to be active and get my body moving. I'm not someone who can sit still for long periods of time. It's just a bit too boring. But my at-home hobbies are kind of like crafting. I really like doing crafts. I love making my macrame plant hangers. I've been crocheting a lot lately. A little bit less lately, but sort of since Christmas time I've been crocheting, which has been really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a good thing for me to do with my hands while I watch TV instead of scrolling on my phone, so I can actually kind of focus on what I'm watching on TV. But I really enjoy it. I'm making an octopus at the minute. It's quite huge, and I got a crochet cat kit for my birthday, which I'm excited to do as well. But those are kind of my main hobbies at the minute, other than plants. But for the most part, it's plants, let's be honest. Oh no, I just pulled a root off. Whoops. But these roots are actually really good. I'm super happy with them. And like this kind of all green Syngonium is growing on me. For a while, it was like a bit meh in my brain. Like I think because it was an Albo and reverted, my brain was like, well, it's not what you wanted, so I got it in a rescue box. I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, and I had a feeling it was going to be reverted, so it's not it's not a problem. I knew what I was doing buying it, but you know, like when it was something different and like a little bit more snazzy, having something that's like all green is slightly less fun, unfortunately. But this is going to be a big pot. What do you think? This size? Yeah, I think that'll be good. I can like kind of spread them out a little bit throughout, so they're not all like condensed in the middle. Yeah, that'll be perfect. I'm still gonna use Monstera and Philodendron soil because that's what I have right now. I need to get more component soils from Soil Ninja because I've just been procrastinating doing it. But I will do it after I get back from my holiday, I think. Ooh, if money wasn't an issue, which plant would I buy? Oh, that's a very hard one. I think probably the Anthurium warocqueanum. It's been on my wish list for literally years at this point. I've wanted it for ages. And I know they're not like terribly expensive, but the prices right now in the UK are quite high and higher than I can afford to pay for a single plant at the minute, so it is what it is. But I think that's one that I really, really want. To be honest, I'm not that into like trying to get plants that are worth thousands and thousands of pounds. Ooh, actually maybe the Whipple Way, the Philodendron Whipple Way. I'll insert a picture of that because they're absolutely stunning. I haven't even put this one on my wish list because I know it's like way, way, way out of my price range. So maybe that one because I won't even subject it to my wish list as I don't think I'm ever going to be able to afford it. So unless it like drastically goes down in price or I can get it in like a giveaway or something, there's absolutely no way I'd be able to add that to my collection otherwise. There we go. That looks really good, actually. I'm a bit surprised by it because I wasn't expecting it to look that nice. I like it now. I like it a lot more than I was expecting to. Yay! I'm now gonna do this Syngonium Mojito. I got this ages ago in a swap with it's a Happy Plant Collector. But it's got some pretty good roots on there. It's been quite a while, I think, at this point, so it's time. Oh, I need to answer questions. I hate doing this when my hands are so dirty, but they are. Ooh, don't you feel burnout with plants? When I was having 70 plus plants, I was so burnt out. That is a really good question. I do get plant burnout. Semi-regularly, I think less so now that I am able to do this as my job and kind of be at home with them regularly. But before, when I was working full-time, I definitely got burnout, and then part-time as well. I did get quite burnt out. And to be honest, I just stopped caring for my plants during those times. Unless it was like a mega emergency with them, I just didn't do anything. And it was hard, and I did lose some plants during that time, but it's okay. I know it's really easy to feel guilty about not taking care of your plants or not doing something right or killing them or whatever, but in the end, like, they are just plants and you need to be putting yourself first. And I know that's hard for a lot of us out there, especially since we're such nurturing people, plant people. And so I get it. I get that it's hard to do, and I don't always practice what I preach, and sometimes I do put my plants before my own mental health, which, like I said, isn't the best thing, but you come first before the plants, always. So I think it's just important to focus on that. And the other thing is to take it slowly. Do a little bit. Maybe just water one room or one area of one room, and don't think about it as big monumental tasks, which I know is really hard because I tend to water all of my plants all at once. But I'm going to start watering room by room now because I think that's going to be a lot easier on my brain and capacity and what I'm able to do at a time. So it's important to take your time with it, and sometimes, at least I find, when I start working on my plants, I will just kind of continue because I am really enjoying myself, and like it kind of just, I'm like, oh, okay, this wasn't that hard, let me do another one, I still have more time. Or oh, I like doing this, I'm like feeling relaxed doing this and I'm not stressing out about it, I'll just do a little bit more. And so I tend to end up doing that with mine, which is good. I think it's a positive way to see my plants and a positive outlook to have. And once I get going, I tend to want to do more. Like, I'm repotting plants and then I'm like, oh, I could repot more, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and then I get excited about it and start having fun with it. And so it's like, it's just getting in there and taking that first step, which is hard and tends to not be the easiest one. The first step is always the hardest. But if you can't do it, don't, and that's okay. Remember that it is okay to not do plant stuff all the time, and it's okay to get burnt out, and it's okay to neglect them a little bit if it means that you're taking time for yourself and doing things that you need to do in your personal life, even like if it's for your family or for friends or something like that. Those things are more important than your plants. I know it doesn't always feel like that, but they are, and so those things come first. And if it means you can't do your plant stuff, that's fine. And also just like figure out what like level of plants is right for you and the time that you have. If 70 plants is where your cap is or where your limit is, try and stick to that. And if you get new plants, give some away, sell some, or like take cuttings and sell those. Like, just managing the size of your collection is really important. Also, I found since I've put a lot of plants in pond and self-watering pots and semi-hydro, I've found taking care of my collection is a lot easier because I don't need to monitor the soil as much. I just need to like have a quick look at the reservoir and then I can water if it needs more. I rarely let my reservoirs dry out completely. Like, it just doesn't happen because that's not something that happens as quickly as the soil drying out. So if you need a bit more time, self-watering. And I know it's a bit of a commitment up front, money-wise and like setup-wise, but it's, in my opinion, worth it, and I really like it, and it's helping me not be as worried about my plants while I'm going on holiday as well. So it's like, it's a win-win-win-win-win. Anyways, just potted that up in soil, doing really well. Happy little thing. I think it's putting out a new leaf, which is super exciting, but yeah. So the last one I'm gonna do, I'm actually going to put on a moss pole. It is the Philodendron Burley Marks Variegata. This absolutely beautiful thing. It's been growing so well, and I think it would benefit from a pole or some support. So I have this spare pole, and I'm gonna put it on it. And I can actually put this moss in here, which is great. And I don't care if it's got perlite in it. That'll probably be good for it anyways. Does this pole fit? I don't think it's gonna fit in this pot. I think this is gonna be too... Oh, it does. It does, you know. Okay, that's even better. It's actually perfect. Oh my goodness, amazing. I just need to poke some holes in the pot so I can keep this steady. And I'm just gonna zip tie this to the pole. There we go. It misshapes the pot a little bit, but I don't mind that. And when I do put stuff on poles, I make sure to put extra bark in there. I'm gonna actually unmoss this first because that will be good for me to see these roots. Oh my god. It's dripping water a little bit because I watered it before this, but they're doing so well. Look at all that. Ooh, who are the most inspiring people to you in the plant world? That is a really, really good question. A lot of people inspire me quite a lot. Some of the biggest ones are probably the bearded plant addict, Johnny on Instagram. His collection is insane, and I honestly don't know how he looks after so many plants while having like a literal farm and children. I think that's mental, and his collection is gorgeous. Got some really huge plants. My moss pole inspiration is Sydney Plant Guy. He grows huge philodendrons on moss poles, and seeing his profile and his like ways of treating moss poles is kind of what inspired me to get into moss poles more, because I saw him doing them and I was like, this is what I want for my collection. I want to be able to grow massive plants. But like, he's really cool as well. I've talked to him a tiny bit, not loads, but he seems very, very nice, and there's lots of really good information about moss poles on his page, and it's where I get a lot of information as well. Honestly, Claire, the Jungle Haven, I'm inspired by her a lot. Her jungle is amazing, and I had so much fun visiting her, and I'm inspired by her, like, amazing ability to grow plants large. And I know a lot of that is environment, but like, she just does so well, and the amount of care she puts into her plants is just phenomenal. She like spends like every day at least a few hours taking care of her plants, and oh, I love her so much. Shout out to Claire. I hope you're enjoying this video. Who else? Wild Fern is another one. I absolutely love watching her videos, and I'm so inspired by her, and she's like, watching her journey and stuff like that has kind of helped me take the plunge and go full-time. I know she's like way further ahead of me in her like plant YouTube career, but she's really cool, and I really like her vibe, and Little Olive, and just seeing her, like, watching her videos helps me, one, relax, but also like it inspires me to show it how it is, rather than just showing the like best of the plant world and my plant life, because it's not always the best, and she's really good at showing like the goods and the bads of her plants, so that inspires me as well. This is actually really hard to untangle. I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I might just do this for a second. Give me a moment. The most annoying thing about propping in sphagnum moss is trying to get the moss off of the roots at the end, because it really sticks to the roots well and provides an amazing medium for the plant. But if I'm trying to move it to soil or like semi-hydro, I would like to have less of it on there stuck. Okay, that's gonna have to be good enough for now. I know they're not perfect and there's still quite a lot of moss on there, but I've just started like, it started to tear roots, and I don't really want to continue tearing roots, so I'm just going to pot this up as it is. Oh my goodness, it's so like curly whirly in its growth. Like, do you see that? It like kind of curls there, and like this one's curling here, and like it's just making so many growth points. I swear it was like 2 cuttings, but it's only 1, and it's just like splitting at every growth point, which is amazing. I cannot freaking complain. But it's like, it's just so odd. I've never had a plant do that before. Like, it's just growing from so many different places. Look at it. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna put some bark in the bottom, because whenever you have a moss pole, I tend to only water the moss pole and not the substrate. And so you want it to be a really chunky mix, like very well draining, so you can water the moss pole without worrying about overwatering your plant. I don't know if this is even gonna like it on here, goodness, but I feel like it needs something to support it. I don't know, would you put this on a moss pole? Maybe I'll ask Memo. Yeah, I'm gonna message Memo and ask because I'd much rather do that and get it right than like pot it up and have to repot it again in like 20 minutes or in like a week, especially if I'm going away. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna message Memo. Sorry for that brief interlude. I know it was like 1 second for you, but it was about 5 minutes for me. Memo's very good at responding to messages, but he's said that... Oh, did I put it in upside down? Maybe I had. No, I didn't. It's fine. Anyways, he said that they love to climb, so moss pole it is. I'm just gonna tuck you in there. And what side should I attach? Probably that. Let me grab some Velcro. So this is just computer Velcro. I find it's slightly cheaper than garden Velcro, and it's still like nice and soft on the plant, so you don't need to worry about it like hurting the plant. And it's nice and sticky still. Okay, so that's attached. Now I'm just gonna fill the rest with soil. There we go. That looks really good. I think it's going to really like the pole, like having something to climb, and hopefully I get some more like really mature big leaves going forward with that. But yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to fill up the pole too much right now because it's still quite low on the pole and it'll save me some moss. But for now, it will be fine. So that is it. That is me potting up some propagations and answering some of your questions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ooh, let's use this one. Bye!